when I was a kid, Renee and I have talked about this. Renee is a reluctant writer. She never really liked writing. It was hard for her, and pushing the pen across the page was hard for her. And it's not entirely true to say I was a reluctant reader, because I absolutely read everything my teachers asked me to read. I just didn't read a lot outside of the classroom. And when I was in sixth grade, my brother never read anything in the classroom, but had tons and tons of books outside of the classroom. So I was a straight A kid who wasn't reading. He was a straight C minus kid who read constantly. And I remember walking in his room one day, and on the top of the stack of all these books was a book by an author that I had no idea who he was, named Stephen King. And the book had a cover of a girl covered in blood. And it was, I was like, oh, what's that? He says, oh, no, you don't want to read that. That's too scary. Now, this is my younger brother telling me that I'd be too scared of some book. I picked it up. I read the first page, and he was right. It was too scary. But I read the second page, and it was even scarier. And I kept reading. It was the first book that I read cover to cover. And then afterwards, I realized that Stephen King at the time, he had like 26 books. He's written another 6 books as we've been speaking. But back then, he only had 26 books. And I read all 26 of the Stephen King books. And I remember looking at them. I don't know if I reread them or not, but I told my mom, I had to be in 7th or 8th grade, Ma, there's no more Stephen King books. I read them all. And she said, well, you know, honey, there are other books in the library. Yeah, but they're not going to be as good as Stephen King. She says, yeah, you're probably right. Probably not as good as Stephen King, but you never know. And the next day she came back with a small book, way smaller than a Stephen King book. She says, honey, try this one while we wait 4 hours for Stephen King to write his next novel. And she gave me a little book. It was an Ernest Hemingway book. I think it was The Sun Also Rises. And I read the first page. Ma, this isn't scary. This stinks. It's nothing like Stephen King. But I read the second page. But it's kind of interesting. I kind of want to see what's going on. And I read that book cover to cover. And when I was finished with it, I said, you know, Mom, that was a pretty good book. Not as good as Stephen King, but pretty good. Does this guy have any more books? So through a horror novel, into Hemingway, into all of Hemingway, into Steinbeck, into an English major in college, and now I can't stop reading.